Great to be in position where we're preparing for the Big Ten championship game. Excited to play in it. We're deep into prep, and with that, open it up to questions.
Okay. Our first question will come from Bill Rabinowitz. Bill, go ahead.
Yes, Curt. I know what you said when you were hired for the job, and you've obviously lived up to that. What do you think has been the number one key to turning around a program that obviously had struggled for so long?
People and a plan. Was able to bring most of my staff with me from James Madison. We've been together a long time. Bryant Haynes, 11 years. Mike Shanahan, 10 years. My special teams coordinator, Grant Kane, I believe 7. Strength and conditioning, probably 6. Other guys on staff, 5 plus. And then, obviously it's all about recruiting and development and retention. And, we've done a good job of filling in the pieces and developing. And, it's translated to results on the field. And you got to have a blueprint and a plan and standards and expectations, accountability. So we've got a lot of high character guys that are good football players, and they've taken the message to heart. And we've been fairly consistent this year.
Our next question comes from Zach Osterman.
Curt, I guess to follow up on that, you mentioned this, I think, a little bit on Friday night, but what's this journey been like for not just you, but that group, that staff group that you've had together for so long? You talked about you've had some one-win seasons, you've never had a 12-0 season. Just sort of the experience that you guys have all had together from, Elon to JMU to Indiana and having a season like this, just where do you think that's been reflected most for you as a staff group?
Yeah, you meant one loss seasons.
Sorry
And
about that.
don't forget IUP, because like both these coordinators I hired as part-time coaches at the D2 level for under $10,000. For those guys, it's been quite a ride. So, I mean, we've had success, which in this business, it's a result-oriented business. And we believe in what we're doing, and it's translated up every level to every level. And this is just a bigger stage, I think, where people are taking notice. So we go about things pretty much the same way we did 10 years ago. Now, you're always trying to improve, and believe me, we have organizationally. But it's been quite a ride.
Our next question comes from Scott Docterman.
Hi, Curt. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Good. Wanted to ask you about your offense and the passing game and some of the depth of routes and the schematics of it. You have obviously a great quarterback. You have some tremendous receivers, but also the schematics seem to also fit what they do well. How would you go about describing what you want to accomplish schematically into the passing game, and how are they able to help reach that vision with the players that are out on the field?
Well, offensively, and I believe we've led the conference in scoring about the last 7, 8 years. It's all about balance. You got to be able to run it and throw it. In particular, the passing game, we're RPO based, and then from there you're into your quick game and your play action, your drop back game. And I mean, you got 52 yards of field, and you got to use all 52 plus of them. So, at the end of the day, defenses all have tendencies and schematics, things they do. And so you've got to have concepts, obviously, that attack everything. But more importantly, we've had great quarterback success. All of our quarterbacks really since 19 have been player of the year in the league on offense, except last year, Rourke was second team all conference to the Heisman Trophy winner, led the country in QBR. So it's all about the quarterback and what he can do. They've all been different. We've had dual guys, pocket guys, etc. And you build around him and your offensive personnel, and you try to play to your strengths. And then you got a certain way, that you coach and things you believe in, and you preach certain things, and you want to play a certain way. And, those guys take it to heart, and then you see the end result on the field.
Our next question will come from Michael Niziolik. I apologize if the pronunciation was off, Michael.
That's all right. Curt, can you break down kind of your process with getting the opponent? Obviously, you're finding out Saturday how much film you break down. What's your process? Where do you start? And then did you get it? What do you take from you got experience from this in the FCS playoffs, kind of doing this? Was there anything you kind of learned from that?
Yeah, I mean, the weekly process is the same. The deeper you go into the season, the more tape you have from 2025. So, the quality control guys always work in advance and they've got the opponent tape broken down the week prior. So on Sunday, when you come in and you clean up the quality control of your past game, you're into now your offense and defensive preparation for the upcoming opponent. Usually starts with a personnel page and a general tendency page. And then what we like to do offensively is maybe go through the last 4 games or so, make sure the cut-ups are done right, the fronts and coverages and blitzes and go from there. Monday, I like to watch the explosive passes, explosive runs. We watch those together, sort them by gain. Monday is kind of a walkthrough day for us, normal down and distance, P10, first and 10, second 1 to 6. So that's our focus. Tuesday, we add second and 7+ to the mix. Wednesday, third down. And on Thursday, we're red area goal line, 2-point plays, 2-minute. So, it's pretty organized, pretty structured. I don't require guys to stay late at night. They're on their own. Get done what you got to get done. And, a lot of them will stay and prepare for what's coming up the next day. And that's the way we do it.
As a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand on the Zoom. Our next question comes from Jeff Rabjohns.
Yeah, Coach, you've had a lot of players come into your program and develop. Stephen Daly, Bones Jones, long list. What are the things that you guys have in place, people and plan, that we see consistent development in your program?
Yeah, Jeff. And I guess I forgot to answer the second part of Niz's question about the FCS playoffs. And you're right. I mean, like our first year at JMU, we played 16 games, went to national championship. And, never really treated those much different than the normal season. You always do tend to do a little bit less practice-wise in terms of the hitting and banging as the season goes on to keep guys healthy. So really, there's not much change, to be quite honest with you, in terms of the game week prep. In terms of development, this business is all about recruiting and development. And development, to me, takes place in the weight room, the off-season program. There's certain things you believe in as a program. You got to have high standards and expectations, accountability. How you do something's how you do everything. And there's a certain kind of guy we're going to bring into the program, a certain kind of guy that we're not going to bring into the program. Lessons I've learned a long time ago, 17 years as a recruiting coordinator and a coach. And you develop them also on the practice field in the meeting room and philosophically in terms of your style of play, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And, there's certain things you want to see on the game field in terms of effort. And we're very process driven. So, we're big into one play at a time, 6 seconds of play. Every play got life and a history of its own. Our mantra is fast, physical, relentless, smart, disciplined, poised, not affected by success or failure, and never, ever satisfied. And, so that way you're not playing to the circumstances of the game. And at the end of the game, when game's on the line, you're just doing your thing one play at a time, not affected by the previous play.
Our next question is from Tim May. Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead, Tim. All right, Tim, we'll try to come back to you. Our next question then will come from Kyle Babcock. Kyle, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this today. What does this mean, this game, to your alumni, to your fans? quick turnaround, and what does this mean to them to be able to see your team participate on this biggest stage?
Well, I'm sure it means a lot to them, and they're excited because I believe it's Indiana's first appearance in the Big Ten championship game. So, I think the fan base has really jumped on board once we started our early success. My first year, we've been selling the stadium out. It's been over the top. We have the largest alumni base in America, over 800,000. And, the support for the football program has really been coming in strong. So I'm sure it'll be a great environment Saturday night. They'll be all jacked up. There actually is a basketball game in Indianapolis at 2 p.m. The basketball team is playing Louisville, so some of those people are going to get a double header, and it'll be a great thing for them.
Our next question is from Tony Gerdeman.
Curt, I'm curious to see how much have you seen from Ohio State this year, and how much different are they than what you saw last year?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of them on some crossover games, and obviously today spent a little bit of time on them. We'll spend a lot more when we're done here. Had a chance to watch them a little bit in the off week too. When we're before the Purdue game, where we were focused a little bit more on rest and recovery for our football team. So they're a great football team. Obviously, won national championship last season. Have won multiple national championships. Ryan Day's a great coach. He'll be one of the legends of the game someday. They're dominant, really everywhere. A lot of great players. Very explosive on offense. Got the number one rated defense in America. Special teams are really good. New coordinator, obviously, Matt Patricia. So they're a little different than they were last year. But, they're giving up the fewest amount of points in the country. People are rushing for about 70 yards on them. They're only giving up 200 yards a game. They're giving up 130 yards passing. Number one red area defense in the country. Really good on third down, fourth down. Multiple looks. A lot of really good players. Put them in position to make plays. And, the thing about Ohio State, they play fast. They play physical, nasty with an edge. And they really haven't been challenged this year. I mean, the Texas game was 14-0, and Texas scored 3 minutes ago in the game. Michigan did have some success early, and then Ohio State took control of the game. And, I think other than the Texas game, 18 points is the closest point differential in all their games.
Our next question goes to Adam King. Adam?
Coach, I know you don't want to talk about what could happen Saturday night post game, but do you think with both teams being 1-2, you guys should be solidified a bye in the college football playoff, knowing that this right now is the two best teams in the country?
Well, I think this is a 1 versus 2 matchup, which is a great matchup. And I had the opportunity to be a part of a couple of those at Alabama. We played Florida and Tebow and Urban 1 versus 2 2 years in a row. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think, you're playing this game for a reason. The Big Ten championship means an awful lot. And I think the way you play should mean something, because it's a game. It'll be the last thing you put on the field. And I don't expect any handouts. We've earned everything up to this point, and we've got to earn it on Saturday.
Our next question is from Dan Hope.
Hey, Curt, what do you feel like you guys learned from last year's game at Ohio State, and what do you feel like are the biggest ways in which your team has grown since then?
Yeah, I think while that was not an enjoyable experience, it was an experience that was necessary for our growth and development to go into a hostile environment like Ohio State and play a team of that quality. We got off to a decent start, but then after that, it was pretty much all Ohio State. And, we were able to add some key pieces to this year's team, some veterans that had played a lot of football, been in those environments. And I think the guys that returned, from last year's team learned a lot from Ohio State and Notre Dame, which helped us. So after, we were able to, when we played Illinois, they were 9 in the country, played them at home, played really well, won decisively, but then went to Iowa, a really difficult place to play. and I think a very underrated football team. And that game went down to the wire, pulled it out at the end. Obviously, Oregon was 2 or 3 in the country at the time we played. They were playing as well as anybody in America. And that was a big moment. We had to prove we could go on the road and beat a team of that caliber. And, we played fairly well, and it was a good win. Even Penn State, I realized they were having a down year, but since Terry took over, they were playing with kind of a renewed energy, and they took control the second half when we failed to put them away when we had the opportunity and had all the momentum in the world. And to come back and win like that on a 2-minute drive was a great thing for, I think, our football team. So I think we've learned a lot since the last time we played. We respect Ohio State. I mean, they're a great football team. What they've done speaks for itself. And we understand that we're going to have to play really well Saturday night.
Next question is from Pete DePremio.
Curt, I'm curious, the Ohio State's offense, the quarterback play, the running back play, can you talk a little bit about them and how balanced they are?
Yeah. And, it always starts with the quarterback. And obviously, Julian Sand is a tremendous football player. He's young, but doesn't play like he's young. I mean, he got super quick release, very accurate, and he's mobile. And they've got great weapons on the outside. Jeremiah Smith is probably the most dominant player in college football, if not Caleb Downs or the other receiver, 17, Cornell Tate. And so they've got weapons in the air to make explosive plays, but they're committed to the run as well. And the offensive line does a great job, as well as the tight ends. And, Bo Jackson and the other running backs have been running really well. So they're fully dimensional. They can beat you a number of different ways. And, sometimes when you watch Ohio State, the game is in hand. And I know Ryan is banking on playing a really long season, and they huddle, and they're not interested in running a lot of plays on offense. And sometimes when you watch them, it's almost like they're holding back a little bit. But they're super explosive, capable of scoring from any point on the field at any time.
Our next question goes to Doug Lesmerisis.
Curt, as we mentioned, both these teams are going to be in the playoff. Both of them likely are going to get a first round bye, win or lose. How do you balance making sure your team is ready and prepared for the playoff versus trying to play your best game and win on Saturday night?
Well, I don't think there's much balance there. We're treating this like a 1-game season. It's the next opponent. If we get done what we want to get done, we won't play again for 30 days. And there'll be plenty of time to recover from our bumps and bruises, etc. Either way, coming out of this game, there will be a response to how you played and the result in preparation for the next opponent. But this game means an awful lot. It's a Big Ten championship. It's a great conference. We've never had the opportunity to play in this game, let alone be the Big Ten champ. And we're playing a great opponent. So all eyes and focus are in preparation toward this game.
Up next is Stephen Means. Stephen, go ahead.
Hey, Curt, just a little more on last year's Ohio State game, but then also you took over a program that obviously didn't have a history necessarily winning. And so there were maybe some things you did last year, some ways you approached things that were necessary to kind of shift the attention of the team. For starters, do you feel like your program in year 2 is starting to get a level of respect across the country? But then also that loss to Ohio State, just seeing what it looked like up close and personal, and what was your first ranked game at this level as a head coach. You talked about earlier the necessary of that, but like, what did you take from that and just seeing it up close and what necessarily it takes to compete at this level, at a high level?
Yeah. I suspect we're getting more respect nationally. The Illinois game, they were 9 in the country when we played. We beat them 63-10 at home. Go to Iowa. That one may not have been on a lot of people's radar, but that was a great win. Obviously, the Oregon game, I think, gave us a lot of credibility. That was a step we had to take as a program, go on the road, play a top 5 team in the country, and come back with a win. And Oregon's a great football team. Dan Lanning's a great football coach. And so I think from that point on, yeah, there has been a little bit more acceptance of where we're at as a football program and what we've accomplished. In terms of last year's game, we got off to a decent start. We had a 7-0 lead. Ohio State made some plays, had some penalties, which hurt them early in the game. So we were able to hold that lead till about the middle of the second quarter. But really, from that point on, we got caught in that one end zone that gave up some sacks. Couldn't get anything going on offense. They had all the momentum in the world. They pretty much dominated for 2 quarters that football game. We scored at the end, got it within 2, and then they scored at the very end. But in my mind, they dominated that football game. And was the moment too big for that football team? I mean, really, objectively, you'd almost have to say it was. We did some uncharacteristic things in pass protection. We did some uncharacteristic things with our punt team, which gave up 14 points, and we didn't respond very well. But I think, and then Notre Dame, I don't think we responded very well. And so I think in the off season, those were 2 experiences that our guys had a long time to think about and prepare for in advance for the next one. And I think this team has responded to those type of challenges. And we have met every challenge and overcome this season because of the way we prepare. And we've stacked days, meetings, and practices, and put it on the field, play 1 to 150 every game. And that's what it'll take this week.
Got time for a couple more. Our next question comes from Stefan Krajishnik.
Hey, Curt, I want to ask you about D'Angelo Ponds, obviously, going up against a high school teammate, and Jeremiah Smith got the chance to do it last year. And again, we'll get the chance this weekend. I guess your thoughts on how he handled that last year and I guess the opportunity he, relishes and takes when he can go against some of these premier receivers in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I thought he held his own last year. Now I'd have to go back and look at a play in, play out cut up, but he's a great competitor, loves football. He's a great player. And if he walked in my office and you were sitting in my office and looked at him, he doesn't look like an All-American. He's not real tall, he's not real big, but that guy goes a million mile an hour every practice, every game. He's a great cover guy. He's got great ball skills, great ball in the air skills. He's a good tackler. And in my opinion, he's a great football player. He is an All-American football player. And I know they were high school teammates. I'm sure he's looking forward to the challenge. And Jeremiah Smith, he's in a league of his own. I mean, I had the opportunity to coach Julio Jones at Alabama. They remind me a lot of each other. And Jeremiah Smith is just a sensational football player.
Our next question comes from Mike Schumann. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Coach. I wanted to ask you about Carter Smith, obviously an Ohio kid. PFF says he hasn't allowed a sack all year. I wanted to get your assessment of how he's played this year.
Yeah, playing really well. Like the way he had played the year before I got hired. I thought last year he played well. He had a few blips last year. He has been extremely consistent. This season was player of the game this past week for our Purdue game. And I think he'll play a lot of football one day when his college days are over. He's smart, he's committed, he's dedicated, he's a great teammate. His teammates love him. He's got leadership qualities, comes from a great family, and he's a competitor, and he's a tough guy. He practices hard, he plays hard. He's everything you want in a football player.
All right, we've got 1 minute more. Our last question comes, I'm going to try this again. Tim May. Tim, go ahead. Still can't hear you, Tim. I'm sorry. You're unmuted, but I can't hear you. In that case, let's give the last question to last question will go to Nick Hamilton. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Throughout the ebbs and flows of the season, how have you seen Fernando Mendoza evolve and elevate to the point where he is right now as the quarterback of your team?
Yeah, when we got him, obviously was highly aware of him. We have his younger brother. And when he came to us, he needed some work in the pocket, footwork, patience, processing. Saw him make a big jump the last week of spring and another big jump the last 2 weeks of fall camp. But I think it was probably after the second or third game of the year where you could really see him start to get comfortable in the pocket, make the plays. And since the Illinois game, he's been outstanding. Now, there's still some times you could make a cut up and say, oh, you got a little too antsy here or there, and I think the cold weather bothered him a little bit against Purdue, to be quite honest with you. He's from Miami. He's never played in that kind of weather before. But he's a great leader. He's a great person, highly intelligent. He wants to be a great player. And Tom Brady is his idol. And I've never seen a guy put the time in and prepare like he does. And he'll be ready to go Saturday. And my big thing is I just want him to focus in on the process so that he can play the best he can Saturday night for the Indiana Hoosiers and nothing else.
Coach Cignetti, thank you very much for joining us today, taking some time for the media. Good luck in your final preparations this week, and we'll see you in Indianapolis.
Thanks, guys.